Hello everyone, I'm Batpan. In today's video, we're gonna see how to create a cutscene like Fractured Psyche in Unity. This video was actually suggested by our dear friend with this ID. Hope all the very best for you wherever you are. This video will be put inside a series of videos covering Unity tips and tricks which can actually help you in your game dev journey. This function is from my game Fractured Psyche, as I said. It's a retro psychological horror game. If you're into this stuff, you can actually check it out. The link's in the description. All the files used and created in this video will be available on my GitHub. You can again get to the link in the description. With all that being said, let's put on the mask and begin. So what I have in here is a base setup to transition from game to the cutscene with a black transition in between, which is how I did it in Fractured Psyche, especially for the bridge scene. You see, by default we have this FPS controller, but when it goes inside this trigger, it's gonna deactivate the FPS controller and activate this animation. And this is a very simple animation I made, which took me like 5 minutes, which is not a lot. So it is just moving and a very simple sitting animation. So by default this animation is deactivated and this FPS controller is activated. So what we want to do is we need a script for this trigger. So this trigger is actually a cube, which I deactivated the mesh renderer, and in the box collider settings you have to click this is trigger. So it is a trigger. So this counts as a trigger and we can go inside it. And what we want to do is we want to create a script for this trigger. So let's create a folder. I'm going to call it scripts. Inside it, I'm going to create a script. I'm going to call it cutscene trigger for the CFP, which stands for cutscene fractured psyche. Double click to open it up. So now we're in the script, we don't need void start or update, so we'll remove both of them. Unity actually has a function to check if you entered the trigger. If you did, it's gonna do some stuff, and that function is void on trigger enter. And it checks if you've entered the trigger. If you did, it's gonna run a function. And that function is not here, it's gonna be inside another script. This was for the trigger. We'll select the trigger and we just give it the script. The trigger is, again I say, the cube. We'll give it this trigger script. We can actually do all the things inside this, but I want to show you a better way of doing it, is actually doing it inside another script. It is cleaner, a lot cleaner. So we'll just create a new script. I'm going to call it animation controller CFP. And anything related to animation is going to be put inside here. By default, I don't need anything. So what I want to do is I'm going to create a public void so I can call it from other scripts. Then I'm going to call it run cutscene. And what I'm going to do inside here is I want to deactivate the FPS controller and activate the animation. So we need two references to these two, this animation and the FPS controller. And we get a reference by saying public game object player, or which is the FPS controller. Then I need a public game object for cutscene underline GO, which stands for game object. And when I call this void, I'm gonna say cutscene game object that's set active true, and I deactivate the player. And how do I call this script? Is through here. We can, call it with a referencer, and I actually explained it in another video, which you can actually click on top of your screen. Right now we'll get to the link in the description. It makes every references easier to control, and I'm using it in my new game. But we're not going to use that in here. We're going to simply call a reference to this animation controller in here. So we say public animation controller CFP, and I'm going to say controller. I'm going to call it controller. So right now we have a reference to this script inside our trigger. And what we want to do is, to prevent any bugs from happening, I'm going to also create a flag or a boolean. I'm going to say already ran animation, which is equal to false. And when we are checking this on trigger enter, checking if the player enters it, we first check already ran animation is false. If it is false, we can go ahead and do some stuff and do the animation. And doing the animation, first thing, we have to make this already ran animation true, so it won't run it again it only runs once because it checks. By default it is false. It comes inside here. It turns true, so it no longer runs it. We go to this controller and we call this function. So we just say controller dot run cutscene. The void we just made here. And that is everything for the cutscene. Let me explain it once more. We have a trigger script which is given to this cube we can go inside of, which doesn't have a mesh renderer, and we have an animation controller which holds controls for all the animations in our scene for this specific scene. And I made a public void so I can call it from other scripts. Instead of writing this one in this scene, I put it inside this script, so managing them is actually easier. That is the reason I used it this way, because I could have just, gave it here and did everything in here, but I'm just trying to show you how I'm doing it in my new game, which is actually making your codes cleaner. Because in Fractured Psyche, again I say, my codes were not clean at all, and it made everything so much harder. Everything is given. When we call this function, it's gonna activate our cutscene and deactivate our player. As easy as that. We can just go ahead and check it out before. So I'm gonna create an empty object. I'm gonna call it controller, and I'm gonna give it this animation controller script. It needs a reference to player, which is this FPS controller, and also the cutscene, which is this animation. And we have this trigger. The trigger also needs a reference to this script. We can drag and drop this controller or click on this circle to find it. This controller is actually this script that we reference inside this cutscene. So let's go ahead and check it out. We're gonna do it without the black transition right now, and then we go ahead and create the black transition, which is actually an easy thing to do. So we go, it runs that animation. As easy as that. In Fractured Psyche, especially the bridge scene, it had a black transition to make the sudden movement not visible and make it a little bit cinematic. So we have to create this black transition. How I did it in Fractured Psyche is I made an empty object. I called it black transition. I put the transform at 000. Then I gave it a UI panel, and for the UI canvas settings, I put it at scale with the screen size 1920 by 1080. Put this one at 0.5, and I gave the panel a complete black look, and I deactivated any texture on the panel, and I made it stretch with screen size. So this black panel is actually our black transition. What you want to do now is give it an animation so it fades in and then fades out. So by default the panel is white like this, nothing is showing, and I'm going to create an animation for this black transition. An animation made, I'm going to say black transition animation, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this red record button, go to this panel, click on this black, and first right click on it, give it a keyframe so it actually starts from no color, 0 alpha. Then we go to, for example, 1 second, we select the color, make the alpha 100 so it goes to the maximum value. We can copy this keyframe and paste it for like here, so it waits a little in between, then it goes out. So going out, we can actually go to this, for example, 2.210, and just turn the alpha down. Or you can just copy this keyframe and paste it here. So right now we have a black transition. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fade in, change the cameras, and then fade out. So right now we have this black transition, but the problem is by default this black transitions animation is gonna loop. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna find the animation you made. You can find it in the assets, or you can just click on the object you made, click on this controller, it goes to your black transition, and the animation is next to the animation controller. You find it and you just uncheck loop time, you save it, and now you have a black transition. And the problem is by default it is gonna run this animation. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna just deactivate this black transition, and when we are inside this trigger, we're gonna run this black transition. So let's go inside our animation controller. We need a new reference, and that reference is gonna be our black transition. So black transition underline GO. But this time we cannot just run this black transition and change the cameras instantly. We want to wait for 1 second. As you saw in the animation, you see we wait 1 second, we change the cameras, then we fade out. So doing that is actually very easy. We can do it inside an enumerator. Enumerator actually lets us wait for some time before doing an action. So we say enumerator. I'm gonna call it run, say cutscene C_CO. So it stands for coroutine. It's a name, you can name it whatever you want. What we want to do is we can just cut these values and paste them here. But before doing that, we gotta wait for some time, and that time is 1 second. I know that I have to wait 1 second, then change the cameras. So I just say yield return new, wait for seconds, wait for 1 second. I'm gonna wait for 1 second, then I'm gonna change the cameras. Before waiting 1 second, what do I want to do? I want to activate the black transition, so it fades to black, and once it is inside black, which actually is at 1 second, we change the cameras. So we say black transition game object that set active true. It's gonna wait 1 second, then it's gonna deactivate our player and activate the cutscene. So if you want to use the black transition again, I highly recommend you wait for example 2 or 3 seconds when you are sure the animation has finished, and you just deactivate the black transition again, so you can use it again. So what we did is we activated the black transition, we wait for 1 second so everything is inside black, then we change the cameras, we wait another 3 seconds, then we deactivate the black transition again so we can actually use it again. And that is everything we want to do. And for this run cutscene, the void that is going to be called from here, what do we want to do? We want to just call this enumerator. If you want to call an enumerator, you're just going to say start coroutine cutscene CO. That's how you call an enumerator. And we are done with the script, and if everything is set, we can go ahead and check it out. So we're going to go to our controller. We need a reference to our black transition. We can give this black transition reference to it. We can go ahead and check it out. You see, I move to the chair, it runs this animation. So one thing that I didn't change is, as you saw, when I went inside the trigger, I could actually move. One thing you can do so your player won't move is you can deactivate the movement script. My movement script is from the Unity standard assets, the FPS controller from it, so I can get a reference to it. So what I want to do is, first up here, I want to say using Unity engine, Unity standard assets dot characters dot first person, so I can actually get a reference to my script. So public first person controller, public first person controller. I'm going to call it FPS script or movement underline script. Now I already have a reference to my script that I'm going to deactivate. And when I go inside this cutscene and I'm changing the transition, activating the transition, I just make my movement script dot enabled equal to false, so my player cannot move. And if your game activates after the cutscene, for example, the player activates again, what you're gonna do is you're gonna just activate this movement script. Just say, for example, movement script dot enabled equal to true. But now we just deactivate it, so our player cannot move. We go to our animation controller, it needs a movement script. I give it the reference. We can go ahead and check it out. As you see, I'm moving. You see the player stopped and it goes into the animation. It comes back, it tries to sit down, and that is how you run a cutscene in Unity like Fractured Psyche. So that is how to make a cutscene like Fractured Psyche inside Unity. That's actually how I did it in Fractured Psyche. Black transition way. There is another way that I made the cutscene is the player goes into a certain destination, that it instantly runs the animation, and that stutter and jumping is not there. That way is actually a little bit harder, but I'm going to make a video on that as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, a like would be very amazing. You can subscribe to see more contents like this. You can tell me anything in the comment section below. Anything you want to say to me, anything you want to suggest, just anything. I would be very happy to answer all of it. Hope all the very best for you guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.